Today I have what is going to be a lot more of a demonstration than we normally do. Some of the things that I do often uh, involve some sort of participation or some back and forth, but for this one, you can choose to participate along with me if you want, but if you don't, you can use this video as a resource to come back and check it out later. So I'm just gonna proceed. If you have questions along the way, please feel free to either raise your Zoom hand or your actual hand, or feel free to write a comment in the chat here. So as I said, this is going to be a little bit more presentational with just me doing some talking today. But I think you'll find some fun stuff in here if you want to play along with me, or if you want to visit this later. So as you all know, I have many years been a performer, and one of the things that I perform in is the circus. And so for this month, while we have a little bit of time to do some out-of-the-box stuff, the theme of the month is studio arts, and I teach a program in circus arts that I teach to kids learning some circus skills. It's been challenging in the pandemic because one of the things that learning circus skills requires is you have to get your hands on circus equipment. And in my classes in person, I can usually bring the equipment, or the facility has the equipment there already. And during the pandemic, I've had to be teaching people from home. So we've had to improvise and figure out how we can create circus equipment at home. And so I thought I would share some of that with you today. Is A, how you can make your own circus equipment at home, and B, I'll teach you a little bit about the skills involved. So this week, we're going to be starting with juggling. Juggling is one of my very favorite circus skills. It is, to me, I think, a skill that should be as well taught as riding a bicycle, because it is that good for you. As much as use as you can get out of riding a bicycle, that's how much use you can get out of juggling. Juggling is great for your brain. It's been proven to help improve your memory. It's been proven to help grow gray matter. It can literally make you smarter. It's great for your hand-eye coordination. It's great for your reflexes. It's great for getting your whole brain working at the same time, because you have to crisscross pathways in your brain. So there's tons of great stuff. There's so much great research about the benefits of juggling. And the great thing about juggling is people think, oh, you have to have special equipment or anything like that, but actually you don't. You can juggle pretty much things you can find around the house. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that today. So the first thing that I want to talk about when I'm talking about juggling is I want to show you the very basics of juggling before we get started. So this is just the very basic juggling pattern. So you'll notice that I have juggling balls, like so. And the reason that these are juggling balls is because, as you'll notice, they are filled with little beans, little plastic beans. It's a little beanbag ball. And that is because when you are first learning to juggle, you're going to hear this sound a lot. When you are beginning to juggle, boom, you're going to hear that sound over and over and over. And when you have these practice juggling balls like this, they kind of know that you're going to hear that sound over and over, which is the sound of the ball hitting the ground. Because when you're first learning to juggle, you're going to drop them a lot. And so since you're going to be dropping them a lot, the people that make practice juggling balls, they don't want you to have to chase them all over the place as they roll around and bounce up and hit you. If you have tennis balls or lacrosse balls or something like that, even baseballs I've seen people use, but those bounce so they can bounce back up and hit you, or they can bounce and roll away, and then you end up chasing them all over the place. So we want to use something like this that is, when it hits the ground, it stays in place like that, so we don't have to go chasing it all over the place. So we're going to start with one, and I'm going to push my desk back just a little bit so you can see a little bit more of me. So we'll start with one, and the basic pattern for juggling is a figure 8 pattern. Now, a lot of people think when they are first juggling that the ball should go like this, in a U shape in front of you, or that the ball should go in a circular pattern like this. And that is not true. We're not making the balls go in a circle with our basic pattern. There is a trickier pattern we can do later on called a shower, where the ball will go in a circle, but that's a lot harder. So we're going to start with the regular basic cascade pattern. And to do that, instead of this upside down U shape where the highest point of the ball is right in front of you like this, we want the highest point of the ball to be 2 points. One is here and one is here. So you'll take those two imaginary points, and those are going to be your guideposts. They should be just a little bit wider than your shoulders and just a little bit higher than your eyebrows. So just those are your 2 points that you're aiming for. So when you throw the ball with your right hand, you want to cross and aim for this point and then catch it. And then you throw with your left hand over here to this point, and then you catch it. So the ball makes this kind of figure 8 pattern. It also helps when you're doing 2 for them both to be traveling in this figure 8 pattern instead of clonking into each other in the middle right in front of you. So if we take this ball and we throw it here, 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 want to try to be consistent with your pattern. I'm a little rusty, so my left hand is a little off, I will admit. So you want to make sure your dominant hand and your non-dominant hand are throwing to about the same spot. So you're here and here is where we want to throw to. One way that we can achieve this is you want to keep your elbows tucked next to your body, and you're going to use your hands in a kind of scooping pattern. So it goes like this. You go from the inside of your body to the outside of your body and back up. Someone I know who is a juggling teacher likes to say, imagine you have a big vat of ice cream in front of you, and you scoop that ice cream and put it to your mouth. So you want to scoop and put it into your mouth. If you go the other way, if you go from inside of your body out this way, then you're going to be pushing that ice cream away from you, and you don't want to. So you want to scoop it in towards you like this. And if you keep in mind your elbows, keep them close, and keep your hands around your hips. One second, my dog is being a little crazy. Sorry about that. You keep your elbows close to your body, and you keep your hands down around your hips, and you remember to throw to those 2 points. You're going to generally consistently get that same toss each time. And that's what you want to do. You want to try to get it so that the ball is going to about the same place every time. You don't want to throw it so hard that you have to reach like that, because now you pulled your elbow away from your body. When you have to reach, that's when you have the opportunity to mess up and drop it. You don't want to throw too high. If you're throwing too high, it becomes hard to keep all of the balls in your periphery. If you're looking way up here and then you have to remember what's going on down here with these, that can be really, really tricky. You also, you don't want to throw them too small, because if you throw too small, when you start doing more than one, then you have to go really, really fast the smaller you get. So if you throw a little above your eyebrows, a little bit farther than your shoulders, you're going to get a nice, easy, slow pattern. Give me just 1 second. All right, so now that's our basic pattern. That's called a cascade pattern, where they go like this. This is the very basic pattern you'll start with before you learn any tricks. You want to learn this cascade pattern first, and we do that by practicing first with one ball, and we're going to keep our elbows close to our body and keep this scooping motion with our hands, remembering those 2 dots. So the first thing you have to practice is this with 1 ball. And this is boring. I know, it doesn't look flashy. It doesn't look like it's a lot of fun. But once you get this, then you can, once you get this pattern down, you can start adding in more juggling balls, and you can start to get a handle on what it's like to juggle. Now, you'll notice what I'm doing here is this is how we want to try to throw the juggling balls. One thing that beginning jugglers try to do is that they always want to try to throw them at the same time, which makes it really hard because then you have to try to catch them at the same time. And as you just saw, sometimes they bonk into each other when you do that. So we want to keep in mind the pattern: throw, throw, catch, catch. So you're going to throw with one hand, then throw with the other hand, then catch, and then catch. So hand number 1 throws the ball, and then hand number 2 throws a ball, hand number 2 catches a ball, hand number 1 catches a ball. So when you throw, instead of trying to go whoop at the same time and catch them both at the same time, you want to throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. And if you add in the other things that I've asked you to remember, which is elbows close to the body, scooping motion with the hands, add in the points, imaginary points, and throw, throw, catch, catch. Those are basically the principles you need to begin a basic juggling pattern. So throw, throw, catch, catch, throw, throw, catch, catch, throw, throw, catch, catch. And my hands, as you can see, my elbows are staying close to my body. My hands are scooping in towards me like I'm scooping the ice cream towards my face. I'm aiming for those 2 points, and I throw, throw, catch, catch. And if you do that, practice that enough with 2, then you can add in the 3rd one. And if you add in the 3rd juggling ball, what you're going to notice is when I do throw, throw, catch, catch, throw, throw, catch, catch, there's a moment where I stop. So it's throw, throw, catch, catch, throw, throw, catch, catch. And then there's a beat. If you take out that beat and add in another ball, you're still just doing throw, throw, catch, catch. When you add in the 3rd ball, you're still doing to the imaginary points, you're still keeping your elbows in, you're still scooping the ice cream towards your face, and you're still throw, throw, catch, catching. Just don't have that beat after the 2nd ball. So you go throw, throw, catch, catch, and then you just keep throw, throw, catch, catching. And if you'll notice, you can see that's all I'm doing. There's the imaginary points, there's the scooping the ice cream, there's keeping the elbows close to the body, and there's throw, throw, catch, catch. And that's all that you really need to do in order to juggle. Now, juggling balls can be tricky, and if you are having trouble with it, there's another way that you can learn this that makes it a little bit easier. And that's if you have a very sheer scarf like this. We call these juggling scarves. And I have 3 of them here, as you can see. And what happens is, if you look, I'm going to put this so you can see my table. I'm going to have the scarf and the ball. They're both right up here. And I drop them. So you'll notice that the scarf takes a lot longer to hit the table. And it also takes a lot longer to hit the floor when you're juggling. So juggling with scarves allows you to practice the mechanism of juggling, but without having to have that quick reaction time. So here you have to think very quickly and you have to react very quickly because the balls are more dense and they are moving more quickly. These move more slowly, so you can still practice the mechanics. It's still the same thing. Still, we're going to these 2 imaginary points. We still want to keep our hips by our body. We still want to do the scooping motion, and we still want to practice throw, throw, catch, catch. So if I have two of my scarves here, I go throw, throw, catch, catch, throw, throw, catch, catch, throw, throw, catch, catch, throw, throw, catch, catch. And I can practice all of that, but I don't have to go as quickly. And then when you get the mechanics of that into your body, then you can move on to objects that are a little more tricky. So one thing I will add though with these is I find it helpful if you can ball them up. They still move slowly, but if you start with them scrunched up, then you can keep them kind of where they need to go. I find that if you are using juggling scarves and you have them opened all the way out like this, and you start tossing them and you moving your arms around, you really have to go way out of your way and really get your arms way out there. And it loses the whole point of the thing when you are having to move your arms all over the place and you're chasing these things and they get wrapped around your wrists and all over, and then you just get caught up in them. Whereas if you keep them nice and bunched up, you can throw, throw, catch, catch, throw, throw, catch, catch, throw, throw, catch, catch, throw, throw, catch, catch. And then you can add in a third one and do your throw, throw, catch, catch. And then you can just keep, like I said, you just keep practicing that same pattern, but it moves a little bit slower. So that's what you can use your scarves for, to practice the mechanics of juggling before you're ready to move on to the juggling balls. I hear some of you saying, well, that's all fine and good, Mike. You teach circus classes, you perform in the circus, so you have this stuff laying around the house. You have a bunch of juggling scarves. You have practice juggling balls you can use. I am not a weirdo who works for the circus, so I don't have that stuff just laying around my house. Well, this is where this past year and the pandemic has come in handy, because along with my students, we've found some clever ways of doing these things with stuff that you have around the house. And the thing that I like to use in lieu of juggling balls is this. Fresh from the wash, folded socks. They're about the same size in your hand as the juggling balls. They are easy to throw. If you drop them, they're not going to roll around all over the place. Most people have at least 3 pairs laying around. So you can use the socks to practice your juggling. It's all the same thing. It gives you something to throw and practice with, all the mechanics that we were just talking about in a something that's just lying around the house. I do want to say the disclaimer, definitely always use clean socks. Don't go rummaging through the dirty clothes and find your dirty socks and fold them up together and start using those. Super smelly and very gross. Don't want to do that. Now, you might be thinking, okay, well, that's well and good, but you just said it's easier to practice starting out with the scarves. And I'm just starting out. I don't know if I can handle this just yet. I want something that moves a little more slowly. Well, if you want to practice with scarves, but you don't have the scarves around the house, something that works just as well, which you can often find around the house, are these grocery bags. Grocery bags are fantastic. They act just like scarves. As you can see, they float down much more slowly than the juggling balls, and even more slowly than the socks. So these are fantastic for practicing the slow motion version that you would get with the scarves. And then you just, same motion. We're going to be going up to our imaginary points, keeping our elbows close to the body, scooping the ice cream, throw, throw, catch, catch, and you can juggle plastic bag just as easily as you can the scarves. So that is a little bit about the mechanics of juggling. Now, let's say that you have been practicing and practicing and practicing, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, you know what, I'm getting pretty good and I want to show people this stuff, but I don't want to be holding grocery bags or my socks from my sock drawer when I'm showing people my juggling skills. So what can I do? Well, what you can do is to make your own juggling balls at home. So I purchased the stuff to make your own juggling balls at home, all at the dollar store, and all together it costs less than $5. So you can make a set of 3 juggling balls for less than $5 from stuff at the dollar store. And what you will need are a few items. One is these. If you ever have had a dog and you've taken them for a walk, you've seen these before. These are dog waste bags. They come in a package of 4 rolls for $1 at the dollar store. So you'll only need 3 if you're making 3 juggling balls, or if you and your friends are making some together, you can do a little more. But you're going to need 3 of these dog waste bags for your juggling balls. The other thing you will need are balloons. You can get a multicolor assortment of balloons at the dollar store for $1, and you'll need 2 per juggling ball, maybe 3, depending on your personal choice. So you'll need 2 to 3 juggling balls, or 2 to 3 balloons per juggling ball. So make sure the package of balloons that you have has at least 9 balloons. Most of them do. Most of them have like 10 or 12 in a pack. So you should be good to go. But again, you don't have to buy fancy things. It can all be from the dollar store. So we have balloons, we have our dog waste bags, and we have some sort of filler material. Now, I am using this bag of dried beans. Again, I got this at the dollar store, this bag for $1. You can also get a bag of rice at the dollar store. But whatever you want your filler to be, it needs to be something that is granular in nature. That means a bunch of little pieces of something. So like dried beans or dried rice. You can use, what else have we used? You can use cornmeal, you can use flour. If you're not interested in using foodstuffs, you can use clean kitty litter. And again, I reinforce the term clean kitty litter. You don't want to use dirty kitty litter. Who knows what might be inside of your juggling balls in that case. But you can take clean kitty litter, you can take sand, you can do dirt from outside if you want to. It's just got to be something that's granular, so that gives you that squishy, soft feeling on the inside of the ball. So as I said, today I am going to be using these dried beans, and those work perfectly well. And my favorite filling is rice. I think rice gives you a really good consistency to your juggling balls. I just didn't have time to go get any rice today, but beans will work perfectly fine. Kitty litter works perfectly fine. Anything like that works for you, that's your choice, what you want the inside of your juggling balls to be. So I'm going to start. The other thing that you will need is a pair of scissors. So we're going to, hopefully you have scissors lying around the house. If not, I know they sell those at the dollar store too. So everything you see, again, a container of these was $1. A package of balloons was $1. And my dried beans were $1. And if you need to get a pair of scissors, that's another $1. So everything to make your juggling balls for less than $5, and you can get it at the dollar store if there's one close to you. So when you go to fill up your dog bag, you want to put your hand over it as if you were going to collect dog waste, as these are used for. But instead of that, you're going to pour some of your filling material into your hand. And the reason you're doing it like this is because you want to stop when it becomes to about a handful. And that means that your juggling balls will fit very nicely into your hands because each filling is a handful. So you're going to do that once you have about a handful. That's a handful for me. As you can see, my dried beans. I'm going to take the bag and pull it around like that. So now the bag is inside out. And I've got a nice handful size juggling ball. Now, once you have it in here like this, don't tie it off. Some people tie it off, but for me, that puts a little knot inside of the juggling ball that just feels weird, and I don't like it. So instead of tying off the bag, I always recommend just twist it a few times like this, and then take the excess part of the bag there, and you're going to fold it around the bag until it makes one little ball like that. And now this is the filling for your juggling ball, and we're going to take this and put it aside for just a moment. And now we're going to develop the outside of the juggling ball. So we're going to take one of our balloons, and you're going to take that balloon and cut off the long skinny part that you would normally blow into to blow up the balloon. So you're going to take this long skinny part and you're just going to snip that little piece right off. Hold on to it because we might use it again in a second. So now we have just this that looks like a little ball without the long skinny part on top. And so you have this opening here. So you're going to stretch that out over your filling like so. So you're going to take that balloon, stretch it over your filling material like that. And there you go. So now you have this. So it's beginning to look like a juggling ball. And now we take our second balloon and we're going to, again, we're going to snip off the part that you blow into. These scissors are not very good. All right, so now we have another one that looks like a little ball. Now you'll notice that there is a hole in this balloon here where the material the filling material sort of peeks out a little bit. What you want to do is to put this balloon over this one so that this opening of this balloon is on the opposite side of the ball from this opening. So like that. The reason is because now if some of your filling tries to get out, it has to work its way out of that twisted bag inside and then work its way out of this balloon and then work its way out of the second balloon on the other side of the ball. So it takes a long, long time for whatever you have on the inside of your balloon to work its way out. So we want to take this balloon, stretch it over our ball like so. This one just tore on me. That will happen. So we might not be able to get this fully on here, but that's okay. I have some that I can show you that have been made more successfully. But you would just stretch this over there like that so that this ball, so that this balloon is over like this. As I said, that one tore, so it didn't get all the way around the balloon. Normally you have just a small hole like this over here, but that's okay. I can show you some that have been completed the correct way in just a moment. But yeah, that's how you make your juggling ball. And then you would just do that again. Some people, just for good measure, like to throw a third balloon. And again, you would pop that one off. You cut off this little part of your of your balloon, and then you would make sure that where this opening is on this one, you want the third balloon's opening to be on the opposite side of that. Again, it just helps to keep your filling inside a lot better. And what you are left with is a really nice squishy juggling ball that when you drop it, it lands flat and doesn't go rolling around all over the place. And you have a nice looking juggling ball that doesn't look like socks to throw, and you can show off your juggling skills. Now, the thing I was going to show you with this part is that you can take this little bit right here that we cut off, you see, and you can cut off just this little part where you would put your mouth when you are trying to blow up a balloon. And you cut that part off like this, and it gives you this little band, and you can just use that to decorate your juggling ball. So this is red, and this will be red on red if I used it. So I'm going to put this on my purple one that I have. So you can take this band and stretch it around your juggling ball, and that will just give it a little stripe. So just you can kind of decorate the juggling balls a little bit. You have a little stripe, and then if this were with the balloon ones, it would work a little bit better, but you have a nice little stripe around your ball. That's something that some people like to do. And then the other thing, and I'll try to show you this with the pink balloon. All my other balloons are in the other room. I don't want to leave you guys alone to go get that, but I think I can show you with the little piece that I have here. So the other thing you can do to decorate your juggling balls is, so you have your one here like this, okay? You've got this balloon wrapped around your juggling ball filling, and then you've got your second balloon, and you've cut this part off, all right? And then what you can do is take the remaining balloon, and if you cut little tiny holes in it, very small, you don't want them to be too big, otherwise they will cause rips in your balloon. But if you take little tiny holes and cut them in this, when you stretch it out over the ball up. So this is a very flimsy balloon. I apologize for that for you guys, but basically, here, I'll see if I can show you this. If you stretch this out over the ball, you get little dots, and you can make your balls, your juggling balls, polka dotted if you want to do that, because the hole that you cut in the balloon that goes on top, when you stretch it out over the ball, makes an opening, and so the color of the first balloon shines through, and so it gives you a little polka dot look. So we call that polka dot or dinosaur egg for juggling balls. So you can add a stripe, or you can add a juggling ball, or sorry, you can add the polka dots to make it dinosaur egg, or you can add stripe if you want to, or you can just have solid color juggling balls, just like I have here. They don't have to have anything fancy on them. Just giving you options for things if you want to make yours a little fancier. So just to review, you can practice one ball at a time, practice your juggling mechanics. If juggling with juggling balls is too tricky for you, then you can use the scarves. If you don't have those things laying around, you can use folded up socks in lieu of juggling balls, and you can use juggling bags in lieu of the scarf. So I'm going to leave you 1 second going to leave you for 1 second to watch a little movie. So as you all know, I love showing cartoons. So since we're doing circus stuff, I found some circus themed Looney Tunes cartoons. So I'm going to leave you here with this for 1 second while I go into the other room, and I'll grab those other balloons and show you some of what I was talking about before. So I'll leave you to watch this clip, this Looney Tunes circus cartoon, and then I'll be right back. All right. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Just a little circus silliness for you. I did go into the other room while that was playing and grab a couple of juggling balls that some other folks have made this summer. And so you can see here's one with the stripe on. This is for a very small person. This is way too small for my hand. But again, you can take the little extra band of the balloon and add a little stripe if you want to decorate yours like that. Or you can give it the dinosaur egg look by cutting the outer balloon so that the inner balloon shines through and you can see some little polka dots like that. So that just two versions of what we were talking about before. The last thing I want to show you before we call it a day is a little game that you can do to practice juggling. Now, once you have gotten good at the mechanics of juggling, the throw, throw, catch, catch, two imaginary points, elbows close to the body, scoop in the ice cream. Those are the four things that we want to hold on to. Once you've gotten good at that, you've practiced with your scarves or your bags or your socks or your juggling balls, whatever you're using, there's a game you can do that can help you improve your skills. So hopefully, if you have some folks that you can play with, whether it's your family or someone, close friend that's coming over to visit or whatever, you can teach them the mechanics of juggling, and they can practice with either one object or two or three, whatever they're most comfortable with. So you can teach them the mechanics, and then you can practice penny juggling. So what I like to do is, I don't know if you've ever been to a baseball game and you've seen the baseball player getting ready to bat, and they have a weight on the end of the bat, so they can swing it around so that when they take the weight off and they go to hit the bat, it's a lot easier to swing that ball, easier to swing that bat around and hit the ball because they've been practicing with the heavy weighted one. Well, juggling something that's really small and something that's really light, both of those things make something harder to juggle. So pennies are small and light, and so they can be a real challenge to juggle. So practicing juggling with pennies is kind of like putting that weight on the end of the bat, because if you practice with the pennies, when you go back to your scarves or go back to your juggling balls, it's going to be a lot easier. So what you can do is each person who's playing the game tosses however many they want, depending on what their level of skill is. And you're just going to keep practicing those mechanics. You want to practice the points, the elbows, the scooping, and throw, throw, catch, catch. So what you'll do is each person per round will take the number that they're ready to juggle. So let's say it's 1. So you're going to practice the throw, throw, catch, catch. You want to practice the basics so that you're keeping everything going. And if you drop it like I just did, then you have to take yours and put it into a jar. And then the next round starts, and the first person to drop theirs, again, puts their coins in the jar. And you decide how many rounds you're going to play. Maybe it's 10 rounds, maybe it's 8 rounds, whatever you want to do, depending on how fast the rounds go. And at the end of the rounds, you're going to count up who dropped theirs first the least amount of time. So if one person dropped theirs 4 times and one person dropped theirs 3 and one person dropped theirs 1, the person with 1 gets to take home the jar of pennies. Now, this is, you might end up with enough to buy half a candy bar or half a soda by the end of a few rounds of the game. So this is not something that I'm recommending as a career choice. And everything, but you just take your little pennies and you can, I'll try it with 3 here real quick. So you can practice. And then the first person to drop theirs drops their coins in the jar. And the winner at the end of all the rounds gets to take home the jar and, I don't know, make a phone call in the 80s or something. So that is it. That's what I have for you guys today. Some juggling stuff, some circus skills and juggling that you can do with stuff that's around the house so you can practice and have your own circus fun without having to leave the comfort of your own house. So that's what I have for today. Any thoughts, questions, or anything anybody wants to share before we go? No, nobody has anything they've been working on or anything like that? All right, well, if no one has anything they want to share, I guess we will close it out about 5 minutes early today, but that's fine. You can use this time to continue practicing on your own if you want to practice some juggling, or if you want to do some drawing or whatever you're working on, that's perfectly fine as well.
I actually have a question for you.
Yeah.
I was just curious, do you have like a personal record of the number of things that you've juggled at one time?
Well, the number of things,
Or just the number of like juggling balls, or I don't know, I guess the record of things in the air at the same time.
I can juggling balls pretty consistently without dropping them. I usually will go on and on until I just stop. If I do more than 3, I would say I could do about. I would say I have about a 90% accuracy rate, and 5 I would say is about a 50% accuracy rate. So I wouldn't know the actual numbers, but I would say for 3 objects I can go pretty much indefinitely. For 4 I can go for probably about 90 seconds or so before I start to get sloppy, and then for 5 I would probably get about 10 or 12 throws in before I mess up.
I'm just curious. I find it pretty fascinating. I think it's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, and you mentioned just juggling things, and so I gave you the socks idea, but actually it's a kind of a tricky thing. Let me see if I can find some stuff around here. If you can juggle things of different sizes and different weights, that is also another good thing to help you with your juggling, because when you're juggling with just 3 very uniform objects, it's very easy for your brain to go onto autopilot, and you can just kind of like tune out and just go into it. But when you have different objects of different sizes and weights, then your brain is constantly having to make that adjustment. So when it sees this thing coming, it goes, oh, this is going to be a grip like this. It's going to have this kind of weight. And then it takes this amount of force to go this way. And then every time the ball hits the hand, it has to remake those calculations. So if you have 3 different objects of different weights, it's a lot trickier.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can try that again. So you can try different objects of different sizes and shapes too if you want to give yourself a different challenge. And then juggling clubs, which I don't have mine in here right now, but juggling clubs is a different thing, because there's an added 5th thing you have to practice. So it's juggling clubs is similar in all the other 4 things. So all the 4 things that we do in juggling balls, but juggling clubs just adds a 5th thing that you have to keep track of. And maybe we'll get around to talking about those, because we figured out how to make our own juggling clubs at home as well this summer. So so maybe we'll do those later on in this session as well.
Cool.
But yeah, well, I hope you guys had fun, and we'll see you next Thursday. Next Thursday we'll be doing more circus at home stuff, and hope to see you there.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thank you, Scott. And thanks to all of you for being here. We'll see you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.